Okay, let's just do one more method of images example just to see kind of the mirroring effect and the kind of situation that you can end up with. And I think this one's kind of cool because you can really see this idea that it really is an image or a mirroring kind of situation. So let's say I have a plus charge, and that plus charge is hanging out right in the middle. It's not quite the middle. Let's see. Try and make that a little better. Maybe a little better. Let's say that it's right in the middle of two infinite grounded planes. Right? So there's a plus charge in the dead center. There's a grounded plane on the left and a grounded plane on the right. And it's sort of in between. And so if you think about this, we've been using this kind of mirroring ideal the whole time. And the best way to describe this is you should think about, like, if you were in I think the easiest way to picture this is if you're in an elevator and the elevator has mirrors on both sides and you look down the mirror, you can sort of see an infinite series of your head going all the way down these mirrors, right? But your image sort of alternates. So you see like the back, you see the front of your head, then you see the back of your head, and the front of your head, and the back of your head, because all of the images sort of keep reflecting back on each other. And that's going to be the same thing that's going to happen here. And so let's, again, we're not going to actually solve this, or we're not going to find the potential, but we just want to see what problem is equivalent to this. And so let's come up with an equivalent problem, and let's flip along the right plane. And I think just to make this a little bit more obvious, I'm going to draw this this one in red, just so that we know which one is the original charge. Right. So here is, we're going to flip it along the right plane, which means the one on the left is still there, right? That hasn't changed anything. And we have our plus Q in the middle here. Right, that stays the same. And since we flipped it along the right side, we now no longer have the plane that was there, but we still have to mirror everything over across the same way. So on the other side of that plane, I now have a negative charge. Put that right on the line there. So I have a negative charge, but I also have to mirror the plane that was on the other side. So I still have now I have a new grounded plane over here. Right. And so there, I've done one flip. And so now I have to do more flipping, right? I have to keep doing this until I've dealt with all the planes, just like we did in this example up here. And so now let's kind of go along here. Now I'm going to flip along the left plane. And so I have to flip everything that this sees. And so again, I'm going to kind of use my red point for reference. So I have my plus Q here, and everything that was on the right side stays as it was. So I have the plus Q, the minus Q, and that line still stays there. But now, when I flip everything along the left plane, so the left plane has gone away, so I don't have that. And then the first thing on this side is sort of the opposite of the red, right? So I get a charge right here, and that's negative Q, because that's the opposite of the red charge, right? But then a little further away, there's this negative Q, and that has to get flipped. And so that jumps all the way over here, somewhere there. And that is going to be the opposite of this one. And so that's going to be plus Q. And then finally, since we're mirroring it along this left plane here, we also have this grounded plane that kind of moves all the way down as well. Right? And so you can see what we're going to end up doing is we keep bouncing back and forth between doing the left side, doing the right side, doing the left side, doing the right side. And when we do that, we're going to kind of mirror over all the charges to the opposite side. and then continue that on the other side and keep going back and forth infinitely, right? And that's kind of why you kind of think about how you would see those charges. But the important thing to notice here is that these alternate, right? I have sort of plus, minus, all down the line. And so even though we're not going to infinitely mirror all these, the important point is that in the end, after all the flipping, what we'll end up with is just a bunch of point charges, right? Where we sort of start with plus Q here, and then we're going to have minus, plus, minus, plus, et cetera, all the way down the line infinitely in either direction. And then at the end, we won't have any sort of planes left. So just by putting a single charge in between these two grounded planes here, that's effectively the same thing as saying we have this infinite line of alternating charges, plus, minus, plus, minus, plus, minus. And so again, in theory, you can replace these a complicated problem with just a bunch of point charges. Okay.